What if I told you that social media isn't just addicting, but it is actually controlling your mind? Today we're going to deep dive into some of the darkest conspiracy theories surrounding social media, from brainwashing algorithms to government surveillance. Honestly, there's a lot of stuff to cover here. I've wanted to do this video for a while because there has been some crazy shit going on in the world, and I think like the way we hear about it on social media is like something to be said, so let's talk about it. The first thing I really want to talk about is the TikTok ban. So this was something incredibly strange that just happened. TikTok was banned in the US, but then just 12 hours later it came back. Personally, to me, I never thought TikTok was going anywhere, but the weird part, still to this day, it felt dystopian to be a part of this. Like, it was so strange, was that TikTok CEO was thanking Donald Trump so heavily, even though Donald Trump was the one who proposed the TikTok ban in the first place. Just saying.
Hi everyone, it's Show here. As you know, we have been fighting to protect the constitutional right to free speech for the more than 170 million Americans who use our platform every day to connect, create, discover, and achieve their dreams. On behalf of everyone at TikTok and all our users across the country, I want to thank President Trump for his commitment to work with us to find a solution that keeps TikTok available in the United States. This is a strong stand for the First Amendment and against arbitrary censorship. As we've said, TikTok is a place where people can create communities, discover new interests, and express themselves, including over 7 million American businesses who earn a living and gain new customers using our platform. We are grateful and pleased to have the support of a president who truly understands our platform, one who has used TikTok to express his own thoughts and perspectives, connecting with the world and generating more than 60 billion views of his content in the process. To all American users, thank you for making our TikTok community such a rich and vibrant space, for surprising and delighting us every day. Rest assured, we will do everything in our power to ensure our platform thrives as your online home for limitless creativity and discovery, as well as a source of inspiration and joy for years to come.
But to me, that whole night where TikTok was banned, it was so strange. The first message was TikTok is now banned in the US, but we're working hard with President Trump. He wasn't even president yet. It was the day before, but whatever. And then once TikTok came back a couple hours later, I think also before Trump was president. Yeah, it was. When it came back a couple hours later, gave me another notification thanking Donald Trump and completely giving him credit for restoring TikTok, which I don't know, maybe he did. I don't really know what he did, which obviously I understood it from a marketing perspective. The CEO kind of has to suck Trump's dick at that point because they wanted him to reinstall TikTok in the US and unban it. And he got it done, but I just think that the way that the ban happened for 12 hours, all of it was so strange, and a lot of people have very different conspiracy theories surrounding this kind of entire thing. I just think it's interesting that the government basically claimed that the ban was necessary due to national security risks, and then within 12 hours, Donald Trump basically hinted at a new executive order allowing TikTok to stay, and then the CEO was just overly grateful to Donald Trump. It just kind of rubbed me the wrong way. I think it rubbed a lot of people a weird way. And then once we came back, it felt like everything was different. I think this is a very popular theory here, is that now there is something wrong with TikTok. It's not quite the same as it was before. I don't know, at first I didn't really understand why people were saying this because I felt like TikTok was the same. Honestly, my For You page was very similar to what it's always been. But then recently, I feel like it has been getting a little particular. For example, when the horrible plane crash happened in DC, I all of the sudden got a billion freaking TikToks about various plane crashes or plane incidences all over America within the last month that I had not heard of until this. And the TikToks were old. It was so strange that the algorithm was pushing that out, because I was just wait, what? How did I not hear about any of these things? How are none of these things being talked about? And all of the comments were also new, saying the same thing. This was all kind of suppressed before, but now it's being pushed to us, which is strange because the TikToks, like I said, were made prior to the crash. And I think social media definitely has levels of censorship. And don't get me wrong, sometimes I think it could be for the better that these, implications exist, because Obviously, a lot of people can spread false information very quickly, but I also think it is sort of a level of censorship, because if people are saying like allegedly and theories, then I don't really see that much harm sharing it, as long as the person who is making the video makes it clear that it's a conspiracy theory and not actual facts. But again, I don't know, some people are like really stupid and they'll believe anything, so like it's hard. It's definitely a nuanced situation, don't get me wrong, because I can understand why, you know, any government wants to suppress certain content, but to me that's also not fair or like within our rights. And I think the whole TikTok ban was genuinely there to censor us. Like, I think first of all, that is why Donald Trump wanted it gone in the first place. Years ago, he wanted to ban TikTok because TikTok spreads information very quickly that a lot of other Americans do, and other people in other countries do not have access to without TikTok. There are so many different things. Like, I have learned a plethora of things on TikTok, and obviously TikTok, it has always been more left-leaning. I cannot believe that I agreed with Candace Owens on literally anything, but she's honestly been spitting some facts lately. And she even said TikTok was a way for a lot of the left to spread information about what's actually going on in other countries and terrible things that are actually happening.
TikTok was incredibly pro-Palestine, okay? To the point that they began censoring the word Palestine, and the ADL, the Anti-Defamation League, which is really just the Anti-Free Speech League, and the Smear and the Slander League, decided that they needed to now step in. Forget you thinking your president has power. We, the ADL, our lobby, AIPAC, we're going to get this done now because we don't like that Gen Z is anti-Israel. They're not allowed to have those thoughts. So incredibly, if you don't remember this, Jonathan Greenblatt, who is the head of the ADL, got caught on audio discussing how Gen Z was problematic and they needed to do something immediately. So this is in March of last year. Listen to what he says.
But I also want to point out that we have a major generational problem. All the polling I've seen, ADL's polling, ICC's polling, independent polling, suggests this is not a left-right gap, folks. The issue in the United States in support for Israel is not left and right. It is young and old. And the numbers of young people who think that Hamas's, massacre was justified is shockingly and terrifyingly high. And so we really have a TikTok problem, a Gen Z problem, that our community needs to put the same brains that gave us Taglit, the same brains that gave us all these other amazing innovations, need to put our energy toward this, like, fast. Because again, like, we've been chasing this left-right divide. It's the wrong game.
He's not lying. It was very clear. I think something like 90% of the posts were pro-Palestinian, and it was because they were able to see videos for the first time. It's the first generation that can actually see videos, not just read about it in the New York Times or read about it in The Guardian. They're actually able to see what is happening in Gaza, and they firmly decided that we are not going to support this. And so the ADL got involved. Israel counted its win and said, we have gotten a handle on, I showed you on a prior episode, we've gotten a handle now on TikTok and on Instagram. And then the kids got smart and started using watermelons instead of, because they couldn't say Palestine or get any views and things were getting banned, they started using watermelon signs, okay? But then very quickly, Congress passed an act. Forget the president in 2020. They were like, oh, yes, no, TikTok must immediately be banned. Now we got to get rid of this or it must sell.
And yeah, that scared the US government because they had a lot of control over what media we're intaking, because obviously Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all of those things are owned by American companies. So they had this way to kind of censor out and filter out different sensitive topics as to like what's actually going on in the world. 100,000%. Like, if you go on Facebook, they suppress different conspiracy theories and ideas and things that are going on in other countries. So does literally Instagram, Twitter, all of them. TikTok was always a place where you could really kind of candidly learn and see what was going on around the world, which I think was not necessarily beneficial or not to the right and the left. Like, it was kind of just neutral. It was just facts of what was actually going on that maybe they just didn't want Americans to really know that much. But TikTok has definitely been battling with the US government because they're a platform with information, not because they're scared of a security risk. Like, I'm sorry, that's just There's no way. I don't know. I'm not in the Supreme Court. Maybe, but whatever. Also, a lot of people claim, I don't know, I have not experienced this personally, because I personally still feel like I'm seeing a lot of stuff, a lot of conspiracy stuff, but I don't know if that's just like I tailored my For You page for that. But I feel like a lot of people have been saying that since TikTok came back, that there's a significant less amount of reach for those type of videos, like kind of telling you like what's going on in the world or different conspiracy theories as to what's happening. And I don't know, I can't speak on that, but I have seen other people say that's to be true, and a lot of people say that like some of the search engines are weird, are blocking out things from only US people that they can't look up like about Donald Trump, and it was like blocked out for the US, but for a different country they were able to search it and you could see it in the search bar. I don't know, personally, do I think something was weird here? Yeah. Do I think TikTok had some leverage over the US government of some sort that was like able to get their way out of this situation? I don't know, but I do think something weird definitely happened here, and I want to hear your guys' thoughts. I want to talk about how social media has brainwashed people, like completely. Social media is not just something that we use, it's something that is designed to use us. The theory is basically that social media apps, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, whatever, are basically rewiring our brains. I believe this when it comes to TikTok. I don't know if it was necessarily these people who invented TikTok's intentions at first, but I do feel like TikTok has created such a short form dopamine rush, and it genuinely has completely, at least shortened my attention span, and I know the attention span of many other people. And the question is, why? Why would they want to keep you able to just always be clicking on your phone to get that dopamine rush at the tips of your fingers? Because that's like not a normal thing that's supposed to happen. But there's actually a lot of like medical and neurological thoughts behind this theory, which is like basically that shortening our attention spans makes people easier to manipulate and easier to control overall. And could that be what is happening with social media? I don't know. I will say it's like definitely strange when you think about how real like TikTok brain rot is. Like, it's such a thing, and honestly it like cracks me up and I love it. Like, I can't even lie, because I genuinely do get dopamine hits from scrolling on TikTok, and that's bizarre. But it's also being used for you, like as in consumer wise, because you know, if you're always scrolling on TikTok getting those dopamine hits, you're gonna be more likely to buy the things that you see on there on any social media app, really. Which is the next portion of this video I want to talk about, is the idea that your phone is actually listening to you. I have always believed this conspiracy theory, because I don't know about you, but I know I have mentioned things out loud, like speaking or texting to people, and then all of a sudden an ad pops up for that exact thing I was talking about. And that has happened so many times. Now, a lot of social media apps have denied these claims that they are actually listening to your conversations, yet so many users report very freakishly accurate ads. And again, like I said, I think it's one thing if you like Google something and then you get an ad for it on Instagram, because obviously like those things can be connected and the apps are collecting your data. Like, they're collecting what you're searching, which I don't know. Like, for like my rational part of my brain was always like, yeah, they just obviously do that because they are trying to figure out how to properly like advertise products to people. But the conspiracy part of me just does not like that. Like, I don't love that the apps just have all your freaking data, and like what else could they possibly be doing with it? That's a question that I don't want to really know the answer to. But there was actually a lot of leaked documents that show that tech companies collect insane amounts of data, way more than you would think. It's not just what you type, but it's also how long you hover over a post, what you watch, what you almost clicked on. There are so many different aspects that go into the data that they are collecting. And like, will it make me delete social media? No, but I also can understand why people are scared of it, for sure. But at the same time, I'm like, whatever, it's probably fine. Maybe that's just me being naive, but I definitely do think they're using the data for something else. I just don't know what. And I think piggybacking off of that, there is something to say about facial recognition. This has always scared me, genuinely. I think facial recognition technology is a good and a bad thing. Like, I genuinely think it does make things a lot easier, obviously, but it's also a little sketchy, and it probably will, if it has not already, help catch criminals, honestly. Facial recognition technology lately is literally everywhere, not just on our phones, but it's at the airport. Like, the fact that I can go up to, like, after coming into this country, the last time I flew from this out of the country was from Paris, and when I came in, I went through customs, and I didn't even have to give them my passport. I literally just had to go up to a screen where they, like, scanned my face, and then they asked me if my name was Michelle Platti. I was like, yeah, and then they let me go. What the fuck is that? Like, things are getting a little too technologically advanced for me. I'm a little scared. I've always thought the theory that social media is actually building a massive face database was very interesting. This is like an early conspiracy theory from like the 2010s where Facebook quietly built a massive facial recognition database using its auto tag feature. And again, TikTok, Instagram, all these things have so many different like virtual effects and filters that basically map your face with pretty crazy precision. I still think it's pretty nuts that like you can go on your phone and look in your photo albums and see libraries of people, like facial recognition of people who have been in your photos before. Like, that's weird, and it just like collects all the photos of them and puts them into one little folder. I think that's so interesting. I mean, think about it. Every time you use a filter that ages your face or even makes you look like an animated character or just even puts makeup on you, you're giving them even more facial data to track how you might look in different scenarios. Something about this really does freak me out, honestly. I think it would be good because it probably catches a lot of criminals, but I also think it's scary. And Facebook actually had to pay $650 million in a settlement because of its secretive facial recognition practices. But it just makes you wonder about all of the data that they collected before they got caught, and are other platforms doing the same thing? Probably. Also, it goes kind of deeper because governments around the world have heavily invested in facial recognition surveillance. Like, China has been using it in social credit systems to track who's behaving correctly and who isn't. Obviously, that is an extreme end of it. But a lot of conspiracy theorists believe that the US is heading in the same direction, but instead of using government-run cameras, they're using social media. Which makes you kind of want to delete everything, but not really. You know what? I just enjoy my TikTok too much. I can't. I think it also gets scary when you think about it in the sense of AI cloning your voice and face. I don't think it's long that before AI can come up with very realistic, like, FaceTime calls to your friends and family of your face and voice. That's not that far away. Like, probably could already do it. I don't like that. It's also just dangerous how much like the technology has advanced at a very alarming rate, in my opinion. When it comes to AI, like, as much of a useful tool it is, it's been very dangerous. It's been proven. There have been people who get phone calls from their loved one's voice, their loved one's phone and voice. And they will be like, Mom, like, I need you to send like $10,000 to this person. He has me kidnapped. Meanwhile, the kid is just fine. And how are they hearing, like, the fact that you can copy and use AI to make anyone's voice say anything is very scary. Like, I don't love it. I also think social media is engineered a lot towards the government, and the government, whatever government that is, uses social media to their advantage. Like, there was leaked Twitter files that basically showed that government agencies have direct influence over social media censorship, and I think this is 100% true. It's why shadow banning is a thing. This is, like, a lot of people will post things that get deleted, like whistleblowers, political activists, even random users sometimes just sharing things. And it's kind of scary. But I've always thought that social media challenges are also something that could have been engineered. For example, like the fucking Tide Pod challenge. Like, just the dumbest challenges. The Kylie Jenner lip challenge. So many challenges went viral that were literally like so stupid. Cinnamon challenge, if we're going back even further. And a lot of people have a conspiracy theory that these dangerous of trends went mysteriously viral because the government wanted to see basically how stupid that we could be and how easily influenced we could be. And I don't like that. I don't like that theory, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not obsessed, and I think it could be true. And let's be real, social media is not going anywhere. If anything, it's just getting bigger and bigger. No matter how much the government tries to suppress people, I don't think that we're going anywhere. Like, the people on the internet have things to say, and it's been a beautiful thing for so many people, myself included, who have made like a living off of working on social media, or even people of the TikTok shop who sell their products and have grown their small business by so much. So even though I think that social media has some downsides or like scariness attached to it, I also think that it is such a like beautiful thing overall that it can't really like go without being said. But I really want to know if you think that social media is just entertainment, like it kind of is on the surface. Do you think that the government is using it for something darker? I want to hear you guys' thoughts. Have you noticed anything weird with Face ID or like getting ads about something that you spoke about in person? I want to hear everything and all of your thoughts on this topic, because I just think something about social media is so freaky. Like, it's kind of a double-edged sword, because I think it's such an amazing thing and brings people together, but I also think the government kind of comes in and ruins everything, which, if you want to call it the government, like whatever government that is, the Illuminati, which would kind of be like overall, like worldwide, Mr. Worldwide. Imagine Pitbull's just in charge of everything. Anyway, but like I definitely think that the Illuminati, the elite, whatever, use social media against us every day. And it's just all about like consumerism and all of that stuff. But could they be, and that stuff on the surface that we kind of know is happening, but could there be really something darker here going on when it comes to facial recognition and AI technology and suppressing things and censorship? I want to hear your guys' thoughts on it, because I think that there's definitely for sure something dark going on here. Anyway, that is it for today's video. If you guys liked it, please give it a big thumbs up. Let me know in the comments below if you want to see more deep dives like this. But that is it. Make sure you follow me on Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram, and subscribe for new videos every week, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.